Hey everybody, I'm Katallina, and today we're here to talk about Clevatess, Episode 1. A powerful beast, an undead warrior, and a baby walk into a bar, and then... Okay, let's get serious. I went back and forth over whether I was going to cover Clevatess, but I can tell you now, after watching one episode, that sleeping on this would have been a huge mistake. The characters are interesting. The plot has multiple layers of depth, and while it started a little slow, by the end of the episode, which has a cliffhanger as deep as the Grand Canyon, all I could think was, I have to wait a week to see what happens next? No! Our story begins with a young girl being taught by her father about the fact that the realm they live in is surrounded by lands ruled over by 4 powerful beasts. It's interesting the way that this is set up. The edges of the map being a realm of the unknown makes me think of the concept of Leviathan and other sea monsters which were generally associated with the unknown territories by sailors in the Middle Ages. But back to our story. The girl grows up to be a hero of her people. Mind you, in my opinion, what they're doing isn't really heroic. I can understand if the issue is that they believe they cannot get safe passage to new lands, and that they're blocked from potentially finding other places to trade or communicate with people. That said, the moment we find out that Clevatess is capable of communication, any sympathy I have for an anime-styled rendition of Gaston's Kill the Beast was pretty much out the window. These people were right within the context of their needs, but they attacked creatures that were not attacking them, with the intent of wiping them from the face of the earth. When they got their asses handed to them, it was totally a fool around and find out moment. They had it coming. The hubris only continued as Clevatess, now aware that humans have successfully made weapons that can damage his horn, decided that he needed to go into their lands and do something about that, before it becomes a real problem. Just like the humans, he wants what's best for those under his rule. Unlike the humans, he claims to have not interacted with humanity for roughly 1,000 years, which tells me these people, and the legend that we learned about at the start of the episode, started this shit. There's a possibility that lesser beasts have been an issue for human settlements, but we don't know how sentient those are or what their role in the ecosystem of this world actually is. We do know the humans came to kill Clevatess specifically, and that he can talk. That's a dick move, in my opinion. We also know that Clevatess is hella powerful. If he had wanted to wipe humanity out, he could have done so at any time of his choosing, and yet he slept. When Clevatess makes it to the castle, shit hits the fan. The humans try to fend him off, but everything they chuck at him seems to bounce off him like it doesn't exist. Despite this, Clevatess actually tries to communicate with the king. He asks the king to explain the nature of man, and the idiot is so arrogant that all he can say is, a beast would not understand. It's one thing if the fool wants to throw his own life away, but to potentially condemn his people to massage his own ego was infuriating to watch. What an absolutely stupid response. Is it a bit cold that Clevatess lopped off his head, like the chef from The Little Mermaid Le Poisson song? Sure, but after saying something so dumb, I'm not fully convinced the jerk was using his brain enough for anyone to think that he's going to miss it. As Clevatess is leaving the area, he is implored to care for a baby boy by a woman who has been trapped under a pile of rubble. He initially tries to ignore this, but ultimately gives in to her plea when she perishes, leaving the baby alone and at the mercy of the elements and anything else that might be around. The sequences between Clevatess and baby Luna are some of the funniest moments in the episode. If something with so much depth and such interesting commentary on the nature of people is going to be balanced out by something so endearing and hilarious, I think we're really in for a treat. I think, in his heart of hearts, there is a quiet kindness and dignity in Clevatess. I also think that he's used to putting up with zero bullshit, something he's going to learn really quickly that he can't apply to a human infant. The realization that Luna is going to need milk causes Clevatess to revive the girl we met at the start of the story. Now undead, and able to be controlled by Clevatess remotely if he desires. He tells her that he wants her to feed the baby. I almost choked on my drink from laughing so hard. There'll be those who say he's a perv, or that this is an act of misogyny, but these miss the point. Clevatess is clearly concerned about Luna's welfare, whether he's willing to admit it or not, but he has no clue how to actually take care of an infant. The girl, Alicia, explains to Clevatess that what Luna needs is a wet nurse, which becomes their new objective as Clevatess orders her to come with them and get this sorted out. The dynamic between the three looks like it should be a lot of fun. Clevatess shifts from being a terrifying force of nature to a concerned parent, to a domineering master dealing with a servant who does not want to be there, and finally, to a frail-bodied mortal who gets KO'd by bandits. Because, yeah, that's a thing. As our strange trio end the episode riding in a cart, hands bound and likely on their way to a slave market, there are other forces at bay, which I'm sure will brush up against our three leads as the series moves forward. First, there is the knowledge that Luna is likely a descendant of the royal family, and the king Clevatess killed earlier in the episode was probably Luna's grandfather. Then there are the dignitaries of a foreign nation who are already keenly aware of the fact that the castle is fallen and the royal family are slain. Guess how eager they are to try and swoop in and get a hold of the tech the place was using to make their weapons that we saw the heroes using earlier. Probably more eager than I am to see the next episode of this, and that's saying something. This development doesn't surprise me. Whenever there is a gap in power, you can bet your boots that there will be someone or something eager to step up and take its place. Much like how this mess started with the people of this kingdom thinking they could take out Clevatess and his beasts to improve their own standing. Neighboring nations are bound to step in and figure that if these people fell down, someone ought to step in and take what they've left behind. But the thing I really want to note here is the guy I've got up on the screen. I'm not sure who he is exactly, but my gut tells me that by the end of this show, there's a good chance he'll make me even more angry than the king did. The standard politicizing that I've been discussing, which was mainly focused on a brown-haired guy who was leading this group, is basically standard procedure for any place that puts its focus on pragmatism. But this guy, something tells me he's just plain nuts, and that he is just as interested in the suffering of these people as he is in advancing the position of his home nation. We'll have to wait and see if my hunch is right here. But with creepy foreign dude talked about, that pretty much sums up everything that really stood out to me here. This show seems like it's off to a fantastic start. It did a great job in grabbing my interest and leaving me with a lot of questions I'm eager to get the answers to. And that cliffhanger? It went far harder than it needed to. But that's great, because it makes me just want to see what happens that little bit more. So, did you watch Clevatess episode 1? What did you think? I'd love to know, so feel free to leave a comment below, and I'll see you in the next video. Talk to you later. Bye!